All right, nephews, lock in, because I know a lot of you think you lost her. That's the story you've been telling yourself. That story, we get it. It keeps you comfortable. That story, well, it keeps you from looking in the mirror. But tonight, we're not doing that, because the truth is, nephew, you didn't lose her. You lost control of yourself. And once a man loses control of his attention, his emotions, or even his discipline, everything else starts slipping right behind it. So some of you are still checking her page. Some of you are still replaying those conversations in your head. You're looking at those messages. You're still looking for signs, for closure, for explanation. Like if you stare at that screen long enough, something's going to start making sense to you. Nephews, it won't. All you're doing is reopening a wound that you should have been healing. I understand. Some of you are frustrated with and think she takes too long to reply, or she's acting different, or dating is messed up today. No, what you're running into is a truth that you don't want to accept. Interest doesn't lie. And when a man doesn't have control of himself, he starts trying to control outcomes instead. And nephews, that's where you lose.
Bruh.
And look, some of you, you're in situations right now where that respect is already gone. All right, but you're still there. You're still tolerating it. You're still hoping things turn around. Let me tell you something, nephews. Love cannot exist where respect is already left a building.
Absolutely.
So tonight, we're not here to blame women. We're not here to blame dating apps. We're not doing any of that weak shit. We're talking about you, your attention, your standards, your boundaries, and nephews, your discipline, because that's where your power is.
Yeah.
And I know not everybody's ready to hear that. I get it. But if the algorithm brought you to our live tonight, then something in you already knows this is where you're going to find your answers. Not the ones you want, but the ones you need. So if you're dealing with something right now, nephews, drop it in the chat, call in, write in, ask the questions that you've been avoiding, because the only way that you are going to fix this is by taking ownership of where you've been lacking. And that's not weakness. That's where your strength is going to start. So tonight, we're going to show you how to stop reopening wounds. We're going to show you how to read situations for what they really are. And most importantly, nephews, we're going to show you how to hold your frame so you don't lose control, so you don't lose yourself. And you're not in some of these situations, because when you're a man that moves with real game, you don't chase clarity, you create it. You don't react emotionally, you respond with discipline. And you understand something most men never learn, that you have influence over the direction of your life. So lock in, nephews, ask your questions. This is Ask Your Favorite Uncles. I'm your certified uncle. Well, Johnny, why don't you introduce yourself for everybody tonight?
So what's good, fellas? I'm JohnnyDumbbell. I am Pittsburgh's no BS personal trainer and life coach. I give men real talk on fitness, mindset, dating, so you can stop getting played, start winning. If you're contemplating doing something stupid, though, maybe you like her so much, maybe she's so freaking hot, maybe she is the opportunity of a lifetime in your eyes, and you're thinking about doing something that's going to go for broke, make her fall into your arms, fall in love with you, but maybe it sounds a little crazy, a little stupid, a little expensive, maybe the kind of thing that would only happen in movies, because it typically does only happen in movies. Talk to us first. Chances are one or both of us has done something that stupid for an even dumber reason and found out why you just don't do it. We help you avoid the mistake of simping. Remember, simps are not victims. They are volunteers. She cannot belong to the streets and on a pedestal at the same time. But we've got great stories that we can tell you, and we've got great stories that other members of the family can tell you. We're not proud of our poor decisions. We're proud of the men that we become by what those decisions' consequences have led us to learn the hard way. That's why we screwed up, so you don't have to. And we're going to help a couple of you young men tonight. Let's go.
All right, nephews, write in, call in. We got some questions from last week. We're going to go over. Let's get it cracking, Johnny. Let's get to work.
Yeah, so in the last week, I got a lot of questions from you guys. A couple of you, you're going to wait a couple of weeks, but I'm telling you right now, Oscar, we're going to read yours. I'm telling you, it's great. It's not going to happen tonight, but I think that the young men could really benefit from hearing your story, and we are going to read it in the next couple of weeks. So keep tuning in. But this one is from Lucas. And Lucas says, I thought I was healing. Then I saw this and everything hurt again. Again or still? That's what I wonder. But at any rate, he says, it's been almost 10 months since my ex and I broke up. But only about 3 months since we truly cut contact. Are you telling me you let her drag your dick through the mud for 7 months? Lucas, bad nephew, bad. Anyway, something happened recently that really messed with my head. She's in college. Well, excuse me. And there's an Instagram profile from the university where people anonymously post messages about someone that they saw that they found attractive. Uncle Bill, have you heard about this?
No, but put me on game.
Okay, so apparently what they do is there's an Instagram page, not officially from the university, not from officially any one student, but it's kind of like the, hey, I go to Pitt, and I think this person that I saw walking across campus is hot, and they try to get a picture of them and post that. So then the comments, dude, tell me about it. And so the comments are all like, oh, she's hot. Oh, hey, I live in this dorm, so come and visit me, baby, and stuff like that. And I'm like, Jesus Jones, man, when I was in college, all you had to do is walk up and say hi.
Hey,
and we lost the ability to do that?
You. I can't even tell you how far I've gone with women just walking up to them and saying, hi, my name is William. That's it.
And if they blow you off, they blow you off, but you only wasted, what, 3 seconds?
Hey, what's
and
up,
no
man?
money. And no money. That's the important part. No money in 3 seconds. That's all it takes. But you're so fucking scared of that you won't do it, guys. Come on. Listen, you can learn a little something from Gen X. And one of those things that I really hope you learn is the ability to verbally and non-verbally communicate in person. Anyway. Man, that drives me nuts.
Let's keep going with this.
Yeah, sorry. Lucas, you're killing me already. So anyway, she has followed that page since she started college back in September. I never checked that page, but for some reason I felt this urge to look at it. Lucas, listen, do not pee on my cross trainers and tell me it's a rainstorm. All right? Give me a break. You were checking that thing from the minute you guys broke up, and it's all right. It's not all right, but it's understandable.
It's not all right.
All right, it's not understandable, but it's something that a lot of young men make the, not mistake, but poor choice of doing. I am so sick and tired of hearing young men say, well, I made the mistake of making this decision. Skip the mistake step. You made a poor decision. And you keep making it every day until this happened. And what happened was he said, I found a post that said, for the girl with the curly hair and perfect shirts, in the middle of the mess of the university, you are an attack on my heartbeat. They say you study sociology, but my case study is on you. Can someone introduce me to this icon? Oh, Jesus. So we got one simp worried about the other simps. Uncle Bill, is this what you call a simpocalypse?
Oh, man.
Oh, dear God.
Does it go on any further, Johnny? Or
I'm sorry to say it does. Because this guy just went, this guy went from being her boyfriend to her ex-boyfriend to being one of her orbiters, even though he doesn't even fully realize he just started orbiting her. Anyway, he says, I am almost certain this message is about her. She has curly hair. She studies sociology because every fucking university makes you take that stupid elective because they want your money. What is it? And now I find myself going back to that post over and over again, checking if she liked the message now. You're looking for her to hit a thumb icon? I hate that I'm doing this. No, Lucas. Uncle Bill and I hate that you're doing this. We hate this for you. You are torturing yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and read on. I hate that I'm doing this, but I cannot seem to stop. It feels like I'm torturing myself, looking for something that will hurt me even more. Yes. And by the way, this comes right along the lines of gambling addicts. Gambling addicts are not addicted to winning. Believe it or not, they're actually addicted to losing. And we'll get into that here shortly. That you're down that path. The only good thing is it isn't costing you money, but instead it's costing you dignity and self-integrity. But anyway, I know we're not together anymore, but seeing something like that made me feel replaced, insecure, and honestly heartbroken all over again. It feels like I am back at day one of the breakup. I hate that something so small can affect me this much, but it does, and I do not know how to deal with this feeling. Simple, man. You're the guy that put all the eggs in the same basket and tripped over your own goddamn feet and dropped them all. Uncle Bill, let him have it.
All right, Lucas, first things first. You didn't get set back by that post, nephew. You got exposed by it.
You set yourself back.
Different. All right, because what the post really revealed was that your healing was it was still too dependent on that silence, that distance, and not seeing anything that challenged your fantasy. And that's not full healing. That's temporary relief. Real healing is when reality can show back up and you still remain grounded. Now, right now, I get it. You're not grieving the relationship. You're grieving the loss of relevance in her life. And that's what's tearing you up. It's not just I miss her. It's someone else might now be seeing what I used to.
Well, and that's evident.
Tell you, Johnny, that hits a man's ego. Pride.
Well, and do you know why it hits him even especially harder? Because they broke up 10 months ago and kept bullshitting and texting and talking back and forth for 7 months. Now, Lucas, I'm going to put you on some advanced game here. The reason you were still talking for 7 months after you broke up is because she's making sure you're still in her orbit in case the guy she monkey branched to didn't want to be with her, in case something like that didn't pan out, in case she found out that he was also seeing a couple of other girls who also had boyfriends, whatever it happens to be. Now, here's the thing. That only has to do with the why, and the why, as we say, does not matter. The important thing is, and the unfortunate thing is, you stayed in contact with her for over half a year after you broke up. Now, I don't care whether you realize that she was holding on to you while she monkey branched or not. I don't care about that. I don't care whether you know it or not. The fact of the matter is that when a breakup is a breakup, that means you are broken up. That doesn't mean that you are in a sexual hiatus while you keep talking. And that's exactly what you did for 7 months. So, of course, because you kept talking, in your mind, with your fragile ego, you felt that everything was still at least semi-okay until you realized that now there's other guys that are maybe describing her online, maybe somebody else. The point is, you felt like you were losing her before you lost her. And after that, for 7 months, you kept contacting her, you kept talking with her because you were trying to hold on to that little straw that might keep you afloat in a torrential ocean. And now, here's the worst part. Now, somebody says something about a girl whose description loosely fits hers, and you are losing your freaking mind about it. The fact of the matter is that you are giving this whole situation a lot more thought than she's given it in the last 10 months. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. Maybe more. Because if she was the one that ended it, you were the only one getting blindsided. The problem is you are so busy sweeping up after her and holding on to the crumbs that you have forgotten that there is a whole other world out there. You've got tunnel vision for this girl. And look, 10 months ago, this is over. This is over. Forget what people are saying about her online, if they're even talking about her, which they may or may not even be.
All right, let me tell you where you messed up, nephew. You went looking. That urge you had, that was not some intuition. That was attachment looking for pain. And a lot of you guys call this curiosity, and I'm telling you right now, it isn't. It's emotional self-harm disguised as investigation.
By the way, Mini Mom, thanks for checking in. We love you. Thank you.
Once you found that post, nephew, you kept going back. You're not just hurt by the breakup anymore. You're building an entire ritual around your own suffering. And every time you visit that page, you're teaching your nervous system this is important. This is where we go for pain. This is where we go to feel connected. And that's the trap. Because some of you guys, you don't stay attached through love. You stay attached through pain. And pain, it becomes the last remaining form of that connection that you had with that woman. And that's why you keep checking. And Lucas, look, you're still measuring your worth against her desirability. Yep. All right, and this is the real world. A stranger complimenting her should not have the power to collapse your day, nephew. But it does. But it does because somewhere inside of you, her being wanted feels like proof that you lost something valuable. That if she is desired, then maybe you were not enough to keep it. I don't know. And look, and I think a lot of you go off the rails there because now you're not processing the breakup. What happens is you're running this sort of courtroom in your head because you want to know, was she more affected than you thought she was? You want to know, does she like the attention? You want to know, has she moved on? You want to know, are you already forgotten? You want to know if you matter. And nephew, listen carefully. A man looking for his value in an ex's behavior is already spiritually out of position. Because your next move here is not emotional, it's structural. You need a clean break in behavior. So let me tell you what you should be doing over the next 30 days. Block that page. Mute anything adjacent to this woman's world. Stop checking for signs. Stop revisiting digital graves. Not because you're weak, but nephew, we need you to start training discipline. And when you want to do something most men avoid, replace observation with production. Every time you get the urge to check, here's where I need you to redirect your energy. I want you to redirect it at the gym, into a journal, a walk, a prayer. Call your friend, ask your favorite uncles a question, clean up your space. Hey, do some push-ups, read 10 pages, or record a voice note to yourself instead. And I'll tell you why.
And in that voice note, remind yourself to talk to us before you do something like this, like we said at the beginning of the show.
All right, healing is not just what you stop doing. It's also what you start building. And a lot of men think closure comes from understanding her. And nephew, it doesn't. Closure comes from no longer needing to. And that's the level up. And one more thing, nephew. You are not back at day one. I know you think you are, but you're really not. And it feels like day one because your wound got touched here. Mm-hmm. But pain returning is not proof that you haven't made progress. It's proof that there's still something that needs discipline, detachment, and rebuilding in your life. So look, the path forward here is simple. Feel it, don't feed it. Acknowledge it, don't worship it. Learn from it, and don't live in it. And that's the real game here.
Yeah, I mean, and I like that you mentioned that he's addicted to the pain of finding out what's on there, because
absolutely,
Lucas, the thing of it is, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I don't know whether you're in, I think you're here in PA. The point is, you're somewhere where gambling is legal. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, stay your ass out the casino with this personality trait that you are exhibiting here. I only say that because, and I was watching a documentary earlier, and I had a friend who went through this at one point. I don't like to say gambling addiction. I like to say gambling compulsion, because dopamine is one dangerous hormone. It's not a drug, it's a hormone. In your case, it sounds to me like it's very similar to guys who are playing the online slots or playing online poker. And the thing of it is that winning doesn't make you keep playing. Losing makes you keep playing. Oh, I just lost $20. So I'll bet 40 this next time and make it back. Oh, I can go ahead and catch up if I do it this way, but I'm just going to have to make bigger bets and take bigger risks, but I'm due to win sometime. In this case, it's almost as if you're expecting to go to this post and expect it to not be there. Or expect your ex-girlfriend to go on there and be like, yeah, I have curly hair and I hope it's not me you're interested in because I'm still hung up on my ex-boyfriend that I strung along for 7 months after we broke up. I guarantee you that is not going to be uttered under her breath, let alone commented on a post. You said it feels like you're torturing yourself. Lucas, there's a reason for that. You are. Okay? You are in a situation where you have the scarcity mindset. Like somehow you think that you got alpha widowed by this girl and there's just no better option for you out there. All this time that you're spending doom scrolling, and that's what I call it, and that's what a lot of people call it, doom scrolling, looking to see who's interested in your ex-girlfriend, who, by the way, probably wouldn't come back to you if there were no other options. You are concerned about this bygone era of your life. And the thing that is, you're focused on how it feels and not what you've learned from it. And I can tell that because all you can focus on is what people are posting about her or what you think is a post about her and how she may or may not react and whether or not she's already banging one of the guys that commented on it. I don't know what it is that you think is happening or what it is that you're so afraid of. What I am going to tell you is this has to stop. This has to stop. I don't care if you have to delete all your social media, put it all on hold, whatever it happens to be. Stomp on your phone. I don't know what else you have to do, man. But what I'm telling you right now is you are mentally draining yourself, emotionally draining yourself. I'm actually going to vote of all the guys that wrote in here in the last month. I'm voting you most likely to cry on your first date with somebody new. While listen, bonus points if it happens while you're both listening to Drake or some shit. Anyway, I'm just saying that I think Drake, I love you. I know you're a Leafs fan. I gotta fuck with you every once in a while, but no, seriously though, dude, don't do this to yourself. This is gonna not only drive you crazy as we speak, but it's really gonna make your future relationships, especially in the near future, very difficult. And you're gonna be writing us again, wondering what happened the next time. Like Uncle Bill said, this is a time for you to structure your way of thinking, your life, your discipline. And I want you to start by waking up every morning, and before you even leave the bedroom, make your bed every single day. The only day it's okay for you to not make your bed is when you grab the sheets off of it to wash them that day and have them back on that bed by that night, or at least have them able to be back on the bed. I hope you have a couple of sets. The point is, I want you to make sure that bed is made. I want you to make sure that you've accomplished one thing that is positive. Two, hopefully, I hope you eat breakfast before you leave the house to go to work, school, whatever it is you're doing. Okay? These are things that you need to be able to love and respect yourself enough to do. If you don't respect yourself enough to make yourself breakfast and make your own bed in the morning, don't you expect to find somebody who's going to be your life partner and be willing to do that shit for you. Because if you don't respect you, no one will respect you. Your uncles will love you, and we'll do what we can for you. But until you love and respect yourself, all we can do is yell at you, man.
Well said, Johnny. All right,
Anyway.
now if you call up with your questions, we are going to be live for about another 40 minutes, 30 minutes maybe. It depends. Write in, put them in the chat. Ask your favorite uncles.
Yeah, in the live chat, by the way, if you ever had a situation where you were on one end or the other of this situation, leave it in the chat. Tell us your story. Shoot me an email, something like that. We'd like to know that what we're putting out there and showing to you guys is relatable, something you might have experienced before. These kinds of things happen every single day. You know?
Call
All right,
up.
so
I got our phone lines open too. You can join the rest of the panel over on YouTube.
Yeah, we haven't had a call in a while, man. We'd love to get one. All right, so we got question 2. This is from Cedric. And Cedric says, time to end it. The relationship, he means. Wow, I didn't realize how that sounded. That sounded bad. So I've been with my girl. This dude's got to listen. We're gonna really have to put our heads together on this one. Since I've been with my girlfriend for 10 years now, we have 2 kids together.
Ooh.
My girlfriend goes to college and is about to get her master's. She asked me to be the stay-at-home dad while
Hey, shout out to all the full-time fathers out there.
She asked me to be the stay-at-home dad while she furthered her career. I absolutely hate not working. I hate not having my income, and I believe that this has been a huge factor in why she belittles me. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. When it comes to our kids, I do not feel like a dad. I feel like their big brother. Anytime I tell my daughter something, for example, my son got a new toy for his birthday, and she wanted to snatch it from him while and play with it. She's 4, he's 6. I told her that she has to wait or to ask him if he can play with, if she can play with it. My girlfriend immediately rolls her eyes and acts like I'm the bad guy and being mean to our daughter and picking sides. I also have another son who is 10 from a previous relationship. Now, here's where things get a little bit upsetting. Every time he's here, she's in a bad mood. She always tries to make it a toxic visit, and I only see him 3 times a year. She has always made every single visit very hard to enjoy. I walk on eggshells. I fell so much out of love. I do not think it can ever be fixed. I know the day I leave. Well, excuse me. She will tell me how I am doing this because she's about to finish school. But anytime I talk about the way she treats me, that goes out the door. She is literally never wrong, and nothing is ever her fault. I'm ready to finally move out and focus on myself. All right, now you're talking. But I have the worst anxiety when my oldest son is around, and I cannot even enjoy the visit that we have together. She has always made every single visit extremely bad. All my son sees is her talking stuff about something or making snide comments about something I did a few days ago. I will do the best I can to be in my kids' lives, but it is time for me to go and to not worry about her and what she has to do in order to finish school. My question is, am I out of line for feeling this way? And what can I do to change the behavior if so? All right, Cedric.
John, you want to take it first?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think it's great that she's going back to school to finish her degree. I think it's terrible that but I think it's terrible that to some degree she has allowed that to become the crowning status symbol in your home. Now, you are staying at home while she goes to school to watch the kids. I'm guessing somebody must be funding the house, paying the bills, because it sounds like she's in school and neither one of you are actually getting any kind of an income. But I think that what's happening here is that she is belittling you because, and I'm going to tread moderately on this because I am not saying that what you are doing is a bad decision, but what I am saying is she is feeling like the dominant creature in that environment because you have taken on what, let's face it, has biologically and traditionally been considered a feminine role. You are the homemaker while she is out there not winning the bread, but investing in becoming the breadwinner. What do you think is going to happen once she has that degree and has that professional career? Even if you do get back into the workforce, and I would imagine with your kids about to be in school, you probably will. What do you think is going to happen when, she is, and listen, I never had a problem with, a girl I date making more money than I do. I mean, that actually hasn't been uncommon in my life. That doesn't have any, or at least it shouldn't have any bearing. I have dated women who have made twice the income that I make. And yet they still treated me with that. Yet they still treated me as if I were the masculine partner in the relationship. They still treated me as if I were the one leading the emotional and committal part of what we had together. And do you know how I know that? Because if they hadn't, I would not have stayed with them. Now, I understand that you have a couple of kids together. And look, that is going to complicate matters, and I guarantee you that it will. But then I want you to kind of balance a couple of things out. If you get out of that household, not that situation, not only are you going to have a higher degree of positive mental health, but you'll be able to get back into the workforce. Now, that's going to be important because, let's face it, you're probably already paying child support for your 10-year-old, and now you're going to be paying child support for a couple of other small children. Nothing can be done about that. You're not going to be able to put that toothpaste back in the tube, my friend. It doesn't work that way. But what you can walk away with is your dignity. What you can walk away with is not dealing with a person who refuses to talk about her own shortcomings and continuously treats you as if you are simply the oldest child in the house responsible for part of the upbringing of the family. a lot of the time what I see a lot of single moms doing with their older sons who are in their 18, 19, 20-year-old range is make them into son husbands when they don't have a partner of their own. Now, I don't know if any of you knows what a son husband is, but a son husband is when, like, a young man is the oldest. Like I said, he's somewhere between 18 and 21 years old, and he's got to take on the role that she doesn't have a male partner to take on. So he's going to be watching his younger siblings. He's going to be maybe even working to pay part of the bills, something along those lines. And it usually goes from the son to the husband direction. But in your case, it's going the other way. You are the former partner who, now that she shit out a couple of your kids, you have to sit at home, be the husband's son. And, there's a reason why she's losing respect for you. Now, I'm not saying she does it on purpose, but whatever she's doing in class, whatever she's doing study-wise, whatever she's also doing with a part-time job, whatever it might happen to be, she comes home and all she sees is that you've been home all day. She doesn't see that you probably did some work with the kids. She didn't see whatever you did with the young children. And that workload is going to lighten as the kids get older, which, hopefully isn't going to matter to you any goddamn way. But the fact of the matter is that you are the wife waiting for her to come home at the end of the day. And listen, I don't care what anybody says. That is not the normal, biological, natural, mammalian sequence of events. And so something is happening chemically, biologically in her that is making her lose attraction and thus respect for you. Because now she's not attracted to you. She doesn't feel like she needs to do anything to keep you around. Meanwhile, she also knows that the law's probably on her side and you're anchored down with those two kids. Otherwise, you move out and pay child support. So now the question you've got to weigh the answer to is, do you walk away with your dignity or do you stay there and save some money that you don't really have right now anyway, by your own admission? You might think this is a no-win situation, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you that there is a way for the two of you to co-parent that is going to require somebody who, if what you're telling us is true, is going to have to maybe come a little bit down off that little high horse of hers and learn how to co-parent in a cooperative manner instead of a dictatorial, dictative manner. Is that a word? Anyway, authoritative manner. My big words are suffering tonight, folks. But she's going to have to be able to come down off that high horse and actually be a partner, because clearly she hasn't been much of a girlfriend or a wife at all if that's the way she's treating you. Uncle Bill, we both got a little bit of experience with this situation, John, at least in one form or another. What the hell's going on?
This one's bigger than relationship advice. This is about a man who's been getting stripped of authority in his own life for so long that he can barely even recognize himself. You already know it's over. Look, he's not asking whether the relationship can be saved.
No, he knows it's done.
It's a confession of a man who's emotionally left, and he's trying to give himself permission to physically leave too. And let's be honest here, this didn't die yesterday. This relationship has been dying in layers.
Bruh.
Yeah.
All right. You gave up the role that mattered deeply to your own identity. You became financially dependent in an arrangement that you never truly respected. You hated not working. Now, this matters because when a man betrays his own wiring for too long, resentment starts building before the woman can even say a word.
Because I promise you, Cedric, this was not your idea. As a matter of fact, I think you actually even tell us that.
Well, instead of becoming a team structure where each role is honored, the power shifted.
Oh,
and he started getting treated like he was disposable, like he was secondary, like he was weak. And this is why, and that really, I got to tell you, Johnny, that probably hurt deeper than some of these arguments. It's not just conflict. This one is about emasculation. And then it got worse. She undermined you in front of the kids, rolls her eyes at your parenting, creates hostility amongst your oldest son, and she makes your home feel unsafe during his visits. And not to mention, you're saying she never takes accountability.
Yeah.
All right, that's not a small issue. This is a deeply corrosive household dynamic. And I'll tell you where you messed up. Let's deal with your side of this because there's game here too. All right, you stayed too long in a structure that was training everyone around you not to take your leadership seriously.
Yep, even the kids.
Every time she overrode you, you stayed. Every time she poisoned the atmosphere with your oldest son, sir, you tolerated it. And every time you swallowed your truth because you wanted peace, you were teaching the entire house dad can be dismissed.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
The hard truth. And look, I'm not saying this to beat you up. I'm saying it because if you don't understand how you helped normalize this disrespect, you're going to recreate this pattern in the next chapter of your life too.
Bruh.
Yeah. A man does not keep authority by demanding it. He keeps it by enforcing his standards consistently. And the biggest red flag in this whole story for me, Johnny, the loudest part, it's not even how she treats you. It's how your oldest son experiences the environment when he visits. That means your romantic dysfunction is now bleeding into fatherhood. Now you've crossed into legacy damage. Your son associates coming to see his father with stress, tension, side comments, and emotional landmines. Then this is no longer just about your relationship with this woman. It's about what kind of environment you're permitting around your children. Yep. And that has to stop. And yeah, absolutely. Should you leave? From what you've told us tonight, yeah. But not emotionally, sir. Not sloppily. Not with one final explosion. Not with one big fight. Not because you finally had enough on a random Tuesday. You leave with structure. Because a sloppy exit, it's going to create years of consequences. So you need to have a plan before you move forward. I would say number one, first thing you need to do is get your money and work situation in order. If you hate not working, then the first thing you need is a productive job. Income is not just about bills here. It's about your identity, your stability, and even in this case, your negotiating power. Get employed. Get your own money flowing. Get your own place mapped out. Get transportation. Schedule custody around it. And you got to be grounded in realities that you're going to spend money and time in family court. And next, stop announcing pain to somebody who weaponizes it. You said anytime you bring up how she treats you, it goes out the window, right? Then stop trying to get emotional justice from a person who's already shown you she doesn't handle accountability. You don't need more talk. You need a plan, sir. You need to reestablish your authority with behavior. Now, that means moving with a calmer voice. That means having firmer boundaries. That means less explaining, no emotional pleading, and no begging to be understood. Your authority comes back through your action, not some speech. And you got to protect your relationship with all of your children. I'm going to keep it real here with you for a minute. Your oldest son, he needs to feel that when he comes around, his father is emotionally available and not terrified of household climate. All right, that means once you leave, you need to intentionally build new memories with him in peace. No containment, no resentment spilling onto him, no using him as a witness to your pain. Also, I need you to think long-term here. All right, you got children involved. That means don't just think like a man who's hurt. You got to think like a father who's building his next 10 years. Housing, work, parenting schedule, legal exposure, child support realities, co-parenting friction, and most importantly, emotional regulation. You move like a builder, not a victim. I need you to understand that a lot of men think the relationship ends when the love dies. No, it usually ends before that. It ends when the respect is repeatedly violated and never restored. And another hard truth for you, nephew, if your woman can consistently undermine you in front of your children and you keep absorbing it, you're not preserving the family, you're preserving dysfunction. That's not leadership, nephew. The move now is not revenge. It's not self-pity. It's not making her wrong for 45 straight minutes. The move is this. You need to get stable. You need to get clear. You need to get out clean. You need to rebuild your name. You need to work. Your authority and your fatherhood all need that as well. And that's the correction, sir. John, this guy, I got to tell you, he's going to have to follow up with us. He's going to need, honestly, look, I'll tell you guys, a lot of you to write Johnny because he deals with the questions for the Monday night show. But Cedric, right? Johnny, Is that what it was? Cedric, I think you should write me because I have extensive experience in family court and I can give you some tips on how you need to move. You should be the one to contact child support. You need to understand that just because you pay your child support, that has nothing to do with visitation of the children. So you got some steps that you're going to have to take. And I think you should write me privately and we should talk, in the DM, sir. So make sure you reach out to me.
Yeah. I mean, and from a person-to-person kind of perspective, I think this is going to be a good lesson for you. If you don't take anything else away from this besides what you learn in family court, it's that obviously this is a situation where in the future, a boundary for you would be, look, you just aren't going to be able to function well in a relationship if you are going to be forced to take any kind of feminine role here. You're not a stay-at-home dad. You're not a stay-at-home boyfriend. You're not a stay-at-home husband. Look, you are obviously, it sounds to me like that is a boundary for you, and that's not the kind of lifestyle you want to lead, and that's clear by what you had written. And you know something? While a lot of people would push back on you for saying that, this is your life. If you don't want to be a stay-at-home dad in your next relationship, if you don't want to be in the feminine role in your next relationship, there is no law saying you have to be. So make sure that when you're vetting the next time you go to get into something, and I know that I'm putting the cart before the horse a little bit here, but the next time you go to get involved in a relationship, make sure that you're paying attention to any of those signs that go to show that this girl wants you to step back and be in the passive role in this relationship. It doesn't sound like that's what you want to be. You sound like an action kind of guy, like you want to be a provider. You want to be getting out of the house, getting some work done, enjoying life, whatever it happens to be. So just keep that in mind for your next relationship. Vet that out if that's not something that you want to partake in the future. All right, so we got Justin here. And I know we deal with a question like this relatively often. I want to put this up because I know this is kind of a common, recurring, trending sort of theme with our younger guys here. And Justin says, excuse me, I got the burps tonight. I can't stand people who take 24 plus hours to reply and then blame it on being busy. And we had a question like this either last week or the week before. He says, a lot of people too busy with life to respond on dating apps seem to have enough time to read posts on Reddit while upset comments. Or write upset comments. I like that. Obviously related to my online dating experiences and a bit over the top for entertainment value. However, these people don't have to reply within 24 hours. In fact, they don't have to reply at all, but blaming it on being busy is such a lazy excuse. Like we don't all have jobs, school, families, hobbies, obligations, chores, etc. I didn't realize I was talking to the president of the world who carries the fate of the whole planet on their shoulders. Can't afford to spare a minute or two for such unimportant distractions. I'm sensing some anger here, Bill. Like trying to reply to somebody, they have a conversation going on a dating app. Let's just be real. Say that you're looking for somebody else or a more casual thing or don't want to get close or whatever it is. I have to say I've ended up dating 2 or 3 of these types in the past. both have avoidant attachment style, and why does that make total? And that does not make total. I'm sorry. Why does that make total sense? Normal people, when they get a message from a potential love interest, don't go, "Oh, what a burden! I guess I'll take another day to compose myself enough to reply." Normal people range from neutral to excited. I'm really convinced that saying sorry, I was too busy with work and blah blah is just a way to flip the script. Like, oh, I had such important things going on. How do you not understand that? Do you not have a life too? Must be nice having all this free time. It's just like, come on now, don't gaslight me. You shit with your phone in your hand like the rest of us. And if not, don't tell me you were at peak effectiveness for the whole day, not spending a minute mindlessly on your phone, etc. There's like 3 professions that can claim that, and even there, a person would reply if they really wanted to. I just can't stand this dating era anymore. It's so much bullshit. Bring back arranged marriages or something. I'm done. I know you're joking about that, but here's the thing. You hit the nail on the head, but the problem is you just don't want to say it to yourself. Like you said, there's like 3 professions that can claim that they're always too busy to reply, and even then they would if they really wanted to. And this girl probably doesn't do any of those 3 professions. Thus, she could reply whenever she wanted to. But here's the problem. You don't like saying to yourself that she didn't want to. That's the kind of thing you're going to have to understand, that you're going to get rejected, man. Online dating is the easiest way to reject somebody. You can literally reject somebody by reading their message and closing the app, not saying or doing a thing. And here's the thing. A lot of you guys get so mad about that. I'm seeing your anger about this. When I was in the 90s, shit, I would have loved for that to have been that quick of a process. You know how easy it would have been to just been like, we would have never taken a shot to our ego. All she had to do was just close out the message, not respond. We didn't get shot down. We didn't get shot up either. We didn't get shot down.
Bruh.
But here you are talking about the ease of online dating, how you don't even have to put yourself out there, how you don't have to be nervous and approach a girl all scared and shit. You're upset because you're sending messages and getting nothing back, and you're mad because she's giving you the "I was busy" excuse. You wouldn't have lasted 10 minutes dating in the 90s. You wouldn't have even been able to fold one of those high school notes the right way. If you know, you know.
Justin, your frustration here, it's understandable, but your mindset right now, it's still costing you, right? Because buried inside all this ranting that we've heard is a man who's still trying to argue low interest into becoming high interest. And that never works. People do not reply late because they're evil. They reply late because replying to you is not high enough on their priority list. That's it.
Well, Bill, it's worse than that. Instead of becoming interesting, he's upset that they're not interested in what he wants them to be interested in.
Now, can people actually be busy? Yes. Can some people be inconsistent for reasons unrelated to you? Absolutely, yes. Can avoidant people create confusing communication patterns? Sure. But none of that changes the only part that matters. Nephew, behavior is behavior. And a man,
and even with all those things that they're interested, they'll respond.
He doesn't like and starts filtering them out. And here's where you messed up. You are too emotionally invested in decoding weak signals, and that's your mistake. You're spending too much time proving that their excuse is lazy, that it's fake, inconsistent, or even manipulative. And you know what, nephew, maybe it is, but you are still there long enough to build a thesis on it.
Yeah.
And look, that's the real question, because once you start writing essays in your head about why someone didn't reply, you've already given away too much of your power. You're not dating anymore at that point. You're litigating. And let me give you some real game on texting here, sir, because you're right, Johnny. We say this all the time. Texting is not the relationship. Texting is not the courtship. Texting is not where your self-worth gets measured. texting is a logistics lane.
That's it.
And too many men turn texting into an emotional stock market trading. She replied fast, I'm up. She replied slow, I'm down. She used the heart emoji, I'm back in. She disappeared, now I'm spiraling. Come on, man. This is weak positioning. And a man with standards uses texting to do one thing. Sees whether this interest is mutual.
Well, Bill, I want to go a little more.
Proceed. If it isn't, reduce investment. It's simple.
Well, and that's just it. I kind of want to go a little more basic than that, because what he's upset about is things that he can't control. And really what this is somebody's not interested and he's upset because she's just simply not telling him she's not interested. The fact of the matter is, man, if you paid attention to her actions instead of her words, you would know that anyway. You wouldn't need her to tell you that. Okay? So what we're looking at here is you are trying to figure out why. You're trying to figure out, what you can do to change other people's behavior. You're not. These girls are not interested in you, and because they don't want to come right out and say it, that is also another thing you can't control. You're not going to be able to control their inability to tell you, hey, sorry, you're not attractive to me. To me, okay? Not in general, not for the earth, not for anything like that. What I'm telling you is you are upset about something that you're not ever going to make somebody do right or better or wrong or whatever. And at the same time, you're not looking at the fact that you're not reading the room. You're not looking at what you're not putting out there that reflects something about you that somebody might like. You know why? Because you're not putting out there something that you already know that you like about yourself. That's an advanced class for you. I know that you would love for these girls to tell you the truth. I know you would love for them to just kind of sack up and say, yeah, sorry, I just don't think you're cute. But do you really want them to do that? Do you really want to go ahead and go through those things that you hadn't even thought of that they might not like about you? It's going to make you even more self-conscious than you clearly already are. No. What you need to do is just understand that you're not just vetting women by what they say or how they look. You're also vetting them for how they respond. And I don't even mean what they say. As a matter of fact, what they say is one of the least important things. You're getting one-word answers. You're getting ghost responses. You're getting nothing, at all in response. You are sitting here trying to analyze the women who don't want you. Meanwhile, you're not taking the time to cultivate communication with someone who might. Now you're wasting your time worrying about why the ones that don't want you, while you might be missing the parade of the ones that do.
Johnny, I'm telling you, he's not just angry at the women. He's angry that reality keeps confirming something that he does not want to accept.
Yeah, he's testing his theory and hoping for the wrong hypothesis. Yes.
Well, a lot of attraction is low effort until it isn't. Meaning, if a woman is truly interested in you, you don't have to philosophize your way through her pace. All right, there's warmth there. There's initiative there. There's ease. There is some level of energy you're getting back. And when that is absent, many of you guys, you don't walk away. You start to become detectives, and that's the wrong move, nephews. You need to stop trying to get honesty from people who are showing you disinterest through their behavior.
Yeah, I mean, if they're showing disinterest and a lack of respect, the last thing they're going to show you is honesty.
He's demanding explicit rejection from people who prefer a passive fading. And that's not the dating market you're in. So you need to adapt. And if the rhythm is consistently off, you stop pushing. Not after 4 weeks, not after resentment, not after another speech, but a lot sooner. Look, late replies, they're not a courtroom case, but they are information. You match energy without pouting. Stop double texting for reassurance. Stop interrogating inconsistencies and stop trying to rescue attraction. What I would do is set your date a lot sooner. And if she keeps stalling, move on. That's it. But look, we're going to go a little bit deeper here. There's some bigger issues here. And men who get triggered by delayed replies usually have one of two problems. I would say, hold on one second. I apologize. Every now and then TikTok makes me do this. I'm trying to keep TikTok on board here. All right. Where was I? All right. You guys that get triggered when you get delayed replies, it's for one of two problems. You guys have one of two issues going on. All right. You don't have enough going on in your own life and you notice it in the first place. Or two, there's usually female responsiveness that you need to regulate your emotions. And both of those are very dangerous because if your peace is depending on who texts you back, you're not centered, you're outsourced. And that's why some men need to hear this. The goal is not to find a woman who texts perfectly. The goal is to become a man whose day is not emotionally hijacked by an inconsistent woman. That's the game. You don't need to decode mixed signals forever. You need better standards. And better standards don't make you bitter. They make you efficient. If someone is too busy to maintain that momentum with you, cool. Believe them once and move accordingly. No speech, no debate, no resentment campaign, just less access. And that's how disciplined men date. Now, Johnny, look, all three of the write-in questions tonight, they kind of tied together. These are men who lost position because they lost control of where their emotions were being anchored.
Yeah.
And there's a bigger lesson here on all of this for the nephews. When you don't govern yourself, life starts governing you through your triggers. And that's why real game, it's not about women. It's not just about text messages. It's not about breakups. Nephews, real game is about self-governance. It's about being able to tell the truth about what you tolerate, about what you ignore, about what you made excuses for, about what you keep feeding that keeps hurting you, and then being able to correct it. Because men don't become powerful when life gets easier. They become powerful when they stop abandoning themselves inside difficult situations. And look, all right, Johnny.
Yeah, they take that path of least resistance, and that's where the dignity goes out the window, yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about something. Johnny, sometimes we got to talk about no contact. We got to help these guys get themselves back and get themselves centered. But nephews, there's something a lot better than no contact. It's when you get a woman hooked on you, when she craves your presence. And I think a lot of you guys get this twisted. When it comes to being unforgettable, you guys think that it's about saying the right lines. Some of you think that it's about sexual chemistry or being different or doing more. And I'm here to tell you tonight, nephews, that's surface level. That gets you remembered for a moment. But what you need, what you guys should be asking for is deeper. How do you become hard to replace? How do you become a presence she feels even when you're not there? And I'm telling you, this only comes from one thing: respect plus an emotional imprint and consistency of frame. No tricks, no gimmicks. So let's get this straight. Sure, no contact works. We love no contact over here. But nephews, no contact is a defensive game. It'll help you recover. It'll help you detach, and it helps you protect your energy. But what we're here to teach you tonight is some offensive game. How do I move in a way where losing me actually cost her something? And that's a different level. So look, here's the truth that most men you don't want. You
And if
can't
not, there
become-
shouldn't be any hard. If she doesn't lose anything, there shouldn't be any hard feelings anyway.
You can't become unforgettable to a woman if you are easily accessible to her, if you're emotionally predictable, and if you're approval seeking. Let me say this again for you in the back who weren't paying attention the first time. Nephews, you cannot be unforgettable to a woman if you are easily accessible, emotionally predictable, or approval seeking. Most of you men are out here, you overgive, you overtext, you overexplain, you overchase, and then you wonder why you're so easy to replace.
Why do they always do this to me? Yeah.
Nephews, you don't chase clarity, you create it. Unforgettable men, we don't live in confusion. We move with direction. We speak clearly. We act decisively. We're like, hey, let's do this. I'm free now, or, whenever, here, or I'm not interested in that. There's no hesitation. There's no over explaining. And I'll tell you, nephews, why this matters, because women will remember how you made decisions, not how you texted. Clarity equals safety. Indecision, equals forgettable. What you need to have is controlled access. And I'd say this is where most men fail. They think that being available equals being valuable, and wrong. Scarcity without substance is manipulation, but access with standards creates value.
There is a huge gap between those two things.
Yes. Well, look, unforgettable men like us, Johnny, we're present when we're there. All right, but we're not always there. We don't overstay. We
got shit to do. We got a job. We got work.
Shout out to, I'm the busiest man I know. We don't overtext and we don't overexpose ourselves early. And she doesn't get all of you immediately, nephew. She has to experience you in layers, because that's what's going to create curiosity. And
put it all on the table. She's going to go.
Well, nephews, curiosity creates emotional investment. And look, we need to talk a little bit about emotional stability here, because this is a big one. This is where respect is built. And most of you guys, you get reactive, you get defensive, you get needy, you get thrown off by small changes.
Bruh.
Unforgettable men, we stay the same. We're not boring, we're grounded. If she pulls back, we don't panic. If she tests us, we don't overreact. And if she's emotional, we don't escalate. And this creates something rare, nephews, when you cannot be shaken. That's when she realizes the amount of respect she has for you, and it starts to get locked in.
Yeah.
I would also tell you, nephews, don't compete. You need to learn how to filter better. And Johnny, we don't talk about this a lot because this is elite level game. Most of you men try to win women over. Unforgettable men like us, we evaluate. Does this woman fit in my life? Does this woman respect my time? Is this woman bringing peace into my life or chaos? And when she feels that you're not trying to impress her, but you're deciding whether she qualifies, this is going to flip the entire dynamic.
Easily.
Now she's investing. Now she's thinking about you when you're not around. Next thing, nephew, you have to do to become unforgettable to women is you live a life that she can feel. You don't become unforgettable in conversation. You become unforgettable through how you live. You have to have purpose. You have to have structure. You have to have discipline. You have to have direction in your life. So when you leave, absence is felt. Your presence is a gift. Now, and I'm going to tell you right now why it's hard to replace men like this. And let's have some real talk here for a minute, Johnny, because women, they can replace attention. Women can replace compliments. Women can replace validation.
On the way to the bus stop.
Texting. Women can even replace sex. But you know what she cannot easily replace? A man who stays grounded under pressure. A man who doesn't chase her approval. A man who leads without forcing. A man who has standards without an ego.
And most importantly, the man that she has chosen to follow. Yeah.
A man who creates emotional safety without weakness. That combination, nephews, is rare. And rarity creates value. And I'm going to tell you the real reason why they can't let go. It's not because we're perfect. It's because we made her feel stable in a chaotic world. We make these women feel seen without being pedestalized. We make these women feel challenged without being controlled. We make these women feel desired without desperation. We make them feel our presence without pressure. And this is what creates the imprint, nephews. So I need you to stop trying to be unforgettable through more effort. Please stop trying to be unforgettable through more texting, more explanation, and more trying to prove yourself. That's how you become completely forgettable. You start becoming unforgettable through self-governance. You control your emotions, you control your time, you control your attention, and you control your reactions. Because when a man controls himself, he naturally controls the dynamic. And a woman doesn't struggle to forget a man who gave her attention. She struggles to forget a man who never lost himself while giving it. Nephews, become unforgettable to these women. All right, look, if you take nothing else from tonight, I want you to take this, nephews. Most of you didn't lose her. You lost control of yourself. And once this happens, you start chasing clarity. You start tolerating disrespect. You start overthinking everything. And before you know it, you're living your life reacting instead of leading it. Now, we heard tonight one man was reopening his own wounds. We heard from a young man who's losing respect in his own household. And we heard from a man who's frustrated with dating and still entertaining low interest. Different situations, but nephews, they all had the same problem. No self-governance. And I'm not saying that to tear you down. I'm saying this because that's the part that you can actually fix. You can't control her interest. You can't control her feelings. You can't control how fast she replies, who she talks to, or what she does after you. But you can't control what you tolerate. You can't control what you give your attention to, how you respond under pressure, and who gets access to you. And that's where your power is. Because listen up, nephews. A man who doesn't control himself will always feel like life is happening to him. A man who does control himself starts realizing he has influence over every single thing around him. And that's how you stop reopening wounds. It's how you stop arguing with your reality. That's how you stop chasing people who already made their decision. And for the ones still holding on, still checking, still waiting, still hoping it turns around, let me give it to you straight. If you have to convince it to work, it's already broken.
You can learn that in sales.
What's the move now? You don't go harder after her. You go harder on yourself. Tighten up your discipline. Rebuild your structure. Raise your standards. Nephews, protect your peace and start moving like a man who knows his time matters. Look, when you become that man, you don't need to chase attention. You don't need to decode behavior, and you don't need closure. You become the one people don't want to lose access to. And that's the shift. So nephews, it's not how do I get her back, but it's how do I become a man I would never walk away from. So look, if you got value from tonight, do us a favor, hit that like button. Drop your questions in the comments. Call in next time. And if you're dealing with something you don't want to say out loud, that's exactly what we're here for. Right, Uncle Johnny? Nephews, this isn't about being perfect. This is about being disciplined enough to stop abandoning yourself in situations that don't serve you. Go build your life. Go build your standards. Go build your name. Now go forth and conquer. Johnny, is there anything else you want to tell our nephews tonight before we wrap this up?
Man, you cover quite a bit in that speech. No, I got to tell you, like I say, control the controllables, guys. We all know that there are things that they do, that other things that happen, and circumstances. Hell, it's raining right now in Pittsburgh. Okay, but I can't control any of that. Neither can you. I control what I do. It's raining. I'm obviously not going for a bike ride. Things like that. We are going to have to understand that adaptability is contingent upon your ability to control what you can control while accepting what you cannot. Now, accepting what you cannot control does not mean researching and trying to find the answer as to why this happened or why she said or did that. That's not what it's for. Okay? That part doesn't matter. What does matter is, what are you going to do to prevent yourself from feeling like this the next time? And how are you going to improve upon your life experience from what you have learned here? Now, we've got 3 days till we see you again. Between now and then, we just want you to make sure you stay out of jail, because Uncle Bill and I ain't got bail money. So keep the drugs and alcohol to a minimum. But if you do drink, don't drive. And if you do drive, don't park, because accidents cause people. It's on you, Dodo.
Yeah.